Alright, so here we're going to label some boundary lines, and first you're going to start with just some basic polylines. They don't even have to be the same layer, they just need to be joined or at least touching each other to form closed shapes. And I'm going to make 4 parcels to begin with and then label those up. So I'm going to use the parcel creation tool, create parcels from objects. Now asking to select your lines. I'm just going to kind of do a crossing, make sure I get everything I need. Enter. And survey site means that's as long as they're on the same site, they'll interact with each other. So if you change one, it'll change the other. And then I've got my labeling style. I'm going to choose proposed lots, and probably set this to proposed boundary lines. And this is my style that'll show how my area and lots are shown. Actually, before I do this, let me back out. I want to make sure I'm going to type in edit tag numbers and go to settings. I want to make sure my lines are set to 1, so when I start having curves and line tables, everything will start at 1 and I don't have to renumber later. So those look good. So I'm going to go back to parcel and basically do the same thing again. Let me just try selecting everything. Enter. Alright, so change those settings again. Proposed boundary line. Proposed lots. I'm going to automatically add labeling and choose my labeling styles that I want to use. Alright, so that's set up, and we'll go ahead and erase these objects since I won't need these old polylines anymore. So I'm going to hit OK and see what happens. And so we have our parcels. I don't know why it starts with number 6, but I'm going to call this one parcel 1. And with my labeling style, I've got a description area where I could just put in, whatever I want. 20 proposed lots. And then it would show up there, or whatever. Or you can just not use those. But it's all set up in your labeling style. So I'm going to label this lot 2. Yeah, it's actually set up in your area label style. That's going to be 3. We'll call that number 4. and it's already got the area and square footage labeled. As you can see, a lot of this is bunched up on itself. So we're going to create some line tables. So I'm going to go over to the annotation tab, table, line and curve. We'll start with a lattice curve table first. DBS, I'm going to use the DBS style. Table layer I can change. And I can put it on the proposed boundary lines. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but we'll put it on whatever layer you want it on. Alright, so we're starting with a curve. So I'll start with this parcel here, and we'll say if this is our point of beginning here, we'll go clockwise around the parcel until we get to our first curve, which would be this one. So I click that one, keep going around until we get all the curves. Because it will label the numbers in the order that you click them. And so we can start with this one and this. And always go clockwise, because when your bearings and distances need to always go clockwise, because land descriptions are always written in a clockwise direction, or at least they're supposed to be, according to state regulations. We'll go ahead and start there. I'm going to leave that one out. That's not a part of this parcel, that little curve. Make sure there's no more on lot 4, so I'll go ahead and get it. Hit enter. And we're going to convert all these labels into tag mode. So I have 15 of them. So we'll hit OK. Place my curve table somewhere off to the side. And now we have our curve table, along with our curves starting 1 through 15. Now we'll do the same thing for a line table. Add line table. I'm going to select, and again, this is going to be my point of beginning. So I'm going to go to this one. I'm just selecting lines that are just maybe they're too busy around them or whatever. And for this exercise, I'm not showing all the other things that could be turned on, but you might have a lot of text or something in an area and you just don't have room for all these bearings and distances, so you'll get rid of those and put them in a line table. Let's just go ahead and put both of these in there. That's actually going to be a part of that. Yeah, so we'll go there. You can just go ahead and put both of these in there. Let's just put these Definitely that one. We can do that one too. So I've got 13 of them. So I can hit OK, or I can change this layer if I want. Go on proposed boundary lines. So now I've got my line table. And once you have the styles set up like I do, you know, it becomes really easy. If you don't have any styles set up, you know, it might be a little bit of tweaking. Alright, so I see here, maybe I want to add this line and this one, or all three, to the line table. Maybe I'll do that. I can go back after the fact, click on the line table, and you see this ribbon comes up, add items, and I can select these. So I can just do it just like this. Convert those. Alright, now they're in my line table. Wait a second, I've got two of the same one. 7407, 7407. Somehow I got that same segment twice. I can just delete that one. So say I've got everything labeled now, and I want to check my work, make sure that, first let's save it. Now I want to check my work and make sure that it's all good. One way you can do it is just, you know, draw a polyline and click and go to your bearings and distances and start typing in your bearings and distances. Oh, and I noticed, you know what? These are not going clockwise. So I should be able to just click on this and edit geometry, reverse. And it's not working for me. I guess when the polylines were created, they were not running clockwise. So let me see if I can reverse this. There, it reversed. It reversed, but then it converted these back to out of tag mode. So that stinks. And it even took them out. Let's see if there's an easy way to fix that real quick. So the curve label styles vary. I just put them into tag mode. Okay, see they're in. Well, they're in tag mode. That's good, but they are renumbered. So that's not good. Let's look at my curve table. It starts from C5 and goes down to C15. And then, so it basically started back with whatever numbers we ended with. So I want this one down here to start with be C1 again. So the way I would do that, type in edit tag numbers, and we're going to go back to settings. Alright, curves starting number. I'll put that to 1. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to click on it. It says number 1 is being used. I don't really know why it says that, because it used to be number 1, and I don't think there's anything else in this drawing, so I'm going to say create duplicate. And kind of do the same thing through here. So now they're back to the way they were. They're not in my table though, but I can click on it, add items, and select them and put them back in. Now they're in there. And notice it put them at the top because this table has a table, the table style has a setting in there, sort data by ascending. So you have to have that checked in order for it to do that, or it'll just put them in whatever order you click them on. Right, save my drawing. Same thing. Same thing with the line table. So I'm going to go back to, so L1, it says L1 is already in here. And that's odd because I don't see it. Oh, there's L1. For some reason these aren't joined, so I can go here, join. Do I want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want this one in a tag mode, so I'm going to go to the properties and put it on single line. It needs to be a single line. Everything's going clockwise. Now this one I want in tag mode. And these two as well. So I can put these into tag. And again, it renumbered those, so I'll type in the edit. I was hoping this would go quickly with no problems, but I guess it was going pretty well until I realized my parcel was not going clockwise but counterclockwise. So I'm going to create duplicate. So put that to L1, L2. That just goes to show you, just make sure everything's going clockwise before you start labeling, and make it a little easier. Alright. Add those items back to my line table. Adding them back in. Alright, now they're in the line table. Save again. Alright, so back to what I was going to show you. You can check your bearings and distances by, you could just draw a polyline and use the bearing and distance. So I can go southeast, 67, 15, 39, 47.85, and it brings me to there, and then go around and do the same thing here, but there's a faster way to do it instead of typing all that in. And delete that polyline, and that's using the map check button. It's up on the survey tab, so you click this map check and this window comes up. Say new map check. I'll type in there it goes, boundary. It's asking for a point of beginning, and then I start selecting my labels. And so what map check does is it reads the label and essentially types it in for you, and it'll go around. So if the label doesn't have enough information in it, it'll just do whatever it can do. Now on these curves, you see it goes like that. You can flip it because it's just going off of whatever's in the curve data, and it also will create the line with the precision that it is labeled to. So if it's to the nearest hundredth and the nearest second, it'll make your line or curve whatever it's labeled. So this is a quick, easy way to check your bearings and distances and make sure they close. So it's now you're done. You can just hit escape once and then click on this button up here, output view, and we can see it closed 3 thousandths, and it shows you the area there, and you can compare that to the area on your label style, 138,843. You have 844, give or take, so that's a good check. So I can create a new map check right here. In this map check, you can call the map checks, instead of just calling it boundary, I could call this lot 2. So if somebody's coming by to review you, they can go to the map check and see, oh, you've already created a map check for lot 2, and here's its closure. And then again, just like before, I just keep clicking on the label styles that I want to use, and notice this arrow and this line that's created. It's not actually, it's a graphical line, but it's not like a polyline or anything that you can grab or anything like that. It's just a graphical line that is only visible when the map check dialog box is open, and it doesn't print or anything like that. The arrow and the line are just for your, so somehow there's I got 2 lines there. Alright, I'm gonna have to fix that in just a second. probably what happened is I had two polylines on top of each other when I first began, and I didn't notice that. So let's see how well that checked. That checks 100. That's good. And the area is the same. So now I get to fix this problem here. You know, with these label styles, you can drag them out or whatever. Notice it changes colors. That's all in the label style. So I have L15 and L16 are the same line. Yep, and that's what we got there. So I'll delete L16 and L17 will become the new L16. So let me do that. So I'll just delete that one. I can reset label location, and I need to renumber that one. Edit tag numbers. I need to relabel 17 to tag numbering, so we want it to start with 16 is the next one. Okay, there we go. And then that should update there. Yep, so it's now 16. So I'm going to save that. And I'll save these two other map checks for later, these two other parcels. Now I'm going to show you how to label, not with a parcel, but just with a polyline. So like right here, see this 154.30 only goes to there. We actually want a line from here to here to here and then to here. Just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to create a polyline. And again, it's always good to create the polyline in the direction that you want the bearings and distances to go. Actually, that's not a straight line. That's supposed to be an arc. So I'm going to undo arc, second point. Let's do nearest. Then end of the arc would be right there. Alright, so I want to label that. I'm on the annotation. Open up this line and curve, multiple segment, and I'm going to use the same label styles as I did with the parcels. I hit add. Now that since I'm using multiple segments, it's gonna put them all three segments on at the same time and just center it. Again, I'm going to want to use a curve and line table here, so I'll add those to my curve and line table. Looking over here, so I'll need C16 and L17. I'm just going to check my settings really quick. So my curve needs to be on 16. And the line should be correct. So let me go ahead and add to my line table that. convert it. So now it's L17. As you can see, there it is. And we'll do the same thing here. Add an item. Add this curve. And convert it. Alright, C16. Alright. Now if I turn on, I got some easements here. As you can see, they're all one joined polyline. So I can do the same thing with these easements. I'm not going to create a parcel out of them, but I can label them all at once, and just go to open the dialog box here, line and curve, multiple segments, and make sure that's on what I want it, even though there's no curves in this, so that's not going to really apply. But then I can just hit add. Actually, I actually don't want those labeled the same way. I want them maybe smaller and on a different layer, like easement layer text. So I'll do line and curve, multiple segment, and we already have a label style for bearing and distance single line easements. So I'll use that. Now I'm going to hit add. Click on this, and it's going counterclockwise. Let's see if I can edit the polyline edit, and just reverse. And it reverses all the lines. This is the polyline there. And then you can make a separate line table for all of these easements and just call it like an easement line table. And with a little cleaning up, like I could take this, I could flip the label so it's over there. We do the same thing here. And you can actually, this line here is not touching, it should be touching this line, so I can use my grip edit, and however you need to adjust it, you can adjust this line and it will actually update your label as well. So there you go.